You know that feeling when you finally decide it's time to upgrade from a hobby-level machine to something that can actually handle heavy fabrics, canvas, or even leather without stalling? You're looking for a tool that will sit on a sturdy table, run all day, and give you confidence that the stitches will hold up on a truck cover or a custom upholstery project. That's the exact dilemma that brings most of us to the Juki heavy material industrial straight stitch sewing machine. The temptation is strong big names, big promises, a whole kit that includes a servo motor, belt, and a heavy-duty table. But before you click add to cart, you want to make sure you're not just buying a list of specs that sound impressive on paper. You want to know if this machine will actually make your daily workload easier, be worth the investment, and stay reliable over months of use. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into the Juki industrial line, the first thing that stood out was the modular nature of this particular package. It isn't sold as a single, ready-to-use unit. Instead, you receive the machine head, a set of accessories, a separate servo motor with its belt, and a full table with legs. For a buyer who already has a dedicated workstation, that can be a genuine advantage because you can match the table to an existing bench or even mount the head on a custom frame. On the flip side, if you're looking for a plug-and-play solution, you'll have to allocate some time for assembly or budget for a professional install if you're not comfortable aligning the servo motor and tensioning the belt yourself. Let's talk about who will actually benefit from this setup. If you're a small shop owner, a freelance upholsterer, or a maker who regularly fabrics heavy denim, canvas tarps, or even automotive interiors, this machine hits the sweet spot. The straight stitch capability means you get that clean, dense line that holds up when you apply tension or when the material is stretched. It's also a good fit for anyone who already knows how to work with industrial sewing equipment and just needs a sturdier head that can tolerate the tougher threads and thicker needles the job requires. On the other hand, hobbyists who only stitch lightweight cotton, quilts, or everyday repairs probably won't see the value. The extra cost of the servo motor and the heavy-duty table will be hard to justify for occasional use, and the learning curve associated with setting up the belt tension can feel unnecessary. Now, the real-world strengths. First, the servo motor is a significant upgrade over traditional clutch-type motors. It provides smoother startup and more consistent torque, which translates into fewer skip stitches when you're pulling a heavy material through the feed dogs. In my conversations with a few commercial seamstresses, they highlighted that the servo's ability to maintain speed under load reduces the need to constantly adjust pressure foot settings, a small but appreciable time saver during long runs. Second, the inclusion of a dedicated table and legs means the machine sits at a comfortable work height right out of the box, reducing the strain on your back and shoulders during a day-long session. Because the table is built to bear the weight of the head and the heavy fabric, you won't notice the wobble that cheaper domestic machines can exhibit when you're threading thick canvas. There are also practical weaknesses that matter once the machine is in the shop. Because the machine head and the servo motor are separate, you have to manage two power sources and ensure the belt stays properly tensioned. If the belt loosens over time, you'll start to see a decline in stitch consistency, which can be frustrating if you forget to check it regularly. Additionally, the machine does not come with built-in thread counters or automatic tension controls. You'll need to manually set the tension for each type of material, which is typical for industrial machines but can be a hurdle if you're not used to dialing in settings by feel. Finally, the package lists some accessories, but those are limited to basics: no extra presser feet beyond the standard, no specialty needles, and no built-in foot pedal. If your projects require a variety of feet, walking foot, free motion, etc., you'll have to purchase them separately, adding to the total cost. From a value perspective, the headline price might look steep compared to a conventional home sewing machine, but the real return comes from durability and the ability to handle workloads that would quickly wear out a lighter unit. The heavy material focus means you can run continuous stitches on material that would otherwise cause a domestic machine to jam or skip. That translates into less downtime, fewer thread breaks, and a lower chance of having to replace a cheaper machine after a few months of heavy use. The Juki Group Green Procurement Guidelines compliance is an extra reassurance for environmentally conscious buyers, indicating the manufacturing process meets certain sustainability criteria, something that rarely impacts performance directly, but can tip the scale for businesses that track green policies. If you decide this is the right fit,